Are you someone that's currently in sales and you are trying to figure out how to increase your sales and close more deals each month? Every single person in sales is currently saying, yeah, duh. Or are you someone that is new to sales and you're trying to figure this whole thing out, trying to figure out where to start and how you can have the most success for you in your career? If you've answered yes to either one of those or both, stick around. I think you will find tremendous value in today's video. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dustin Boudreau. I currently manage a sales team of about 21 people, and the things that I'm going to discuss in this video today is what I've been talking with my team quite a bit recently, and it's led to some really great results and things that are moving in the right direction in a very fast way. And it's two things really. Simplicity, if you can write this down, this is a good note. Complexity is the enemy of execution. If nobody understands it, nobody's going to do it and put it into place. And secondly, focusing on the fundamentals. In sales or in anything for that matter, there's only a couple things that really move the needle and really make a big impact, and I call them money-making activities. And if you're able to focus on those things, you can have a tremendous impact and make a big difference. So, real quick, if you are new and you're somebody that says, yes, I'm new to sales, make sure you stay to the end. I got something really exciting for you, and it'll make you think about sales differently and get you really motivated to go out and crush this thing and learn all that you can. So what are the fundamentals? I say you can focus on 4 fundamental skills, continue to get better at them, and if you do, you will have a tremendous amount of success. So I'll just list them and then we'll dive deep into each one of these. Now, I also will say, each one of these fundamental skills that I'm going to talk about could be a whole training course on its own. However, I want to put this out there, make a quick video, provide some value, and give you a starting point. So, what are the 4 fundamentals? 1, prospecting. 2, presenting or demoing, whatever you want to call it. 3, closing and asking for the business. And 4, following up. Now let's get right into it. I listed the fundamental skills in the order that they should happen. So prospecting, demoing or presenting, asking for the business / closing, and following up. So let's start with the first one, prospecting. And this is probably self-explanatory to start with, but if you don't have anyone to talk to, you can't pitch anybody, you can't ask for the business, you can't follow up, and you ultimately can't make any sales. So having a prospect list or a bunch of folks to talk to is where you want to start when you're going to look and make sales and increase your sales and productivity. Now, I'll use an example. I am in the restaurant industry, so I'll just kind of use my process and what we do to make sense of each step and what we're doing to increase sales. And you can apply this to any industry or anything that you're selling. So when we're creating this prospect list or these people that we need to talk to, for me, I'm in the restaurant industry, so I'm going to target restaurants, which again, there's no surprise there. But however, I say that because I am not going to target jewelry stores or clothing stores to go out and try to sell what I have to them, because they will not be interested. They just not a good fit, and it's not meant for that type of business. So whatever you're in, figure out where those customers or prospects are at and who qualifies for the product that you are trying to sell and the value that you can bring to them. And depending on what industry you're in or what you're selling, you'll find these folks in different places. Now that you have this list, now that you have a starting point, and I will say, prospecting is a skill that you want to continue to learn and master and always be adding to your list. Whenever you have new prospects, this does a couple things. 1, it gives you a big pipeline of people to talk to. And 2, whenever you are talking to these folks, you have such a big list or a big pipeline, you don't seem desperate and keep hounding the same handful of people to try to get their business and stay on top of them and always going to say, hey, let's do this, let's get this done. Whenever you have that big, long list, it will take you a while to get through them. So when you present, which we're going to get to here in the next step, that will come across in your tonality and your body language and how you're handling the situation, and will look really good for you. Fundamental skill number 2, presenting your product or service. Why should somebody buy from you? What's the value proposition? How will it increase their business, increase their personal life, bring them more money? All of these questions you've probably noticed are surrounded around them. Your customer, how does it impact their life and their business? When you're crafting your pitch or presenting these types of things, it is very important to be focused on them, how it impacts them, all the things that this product or service that you're selling will increase their life and business and why they need it. It's not about me or you. It's always about them. I know that may sound repetitive, but just keep that in your mind when you are talking to your potential customers and prospects. Now, another great thing about presenting, if you're brand new to sales or you're brand new to selling this product or service, you may not be the best as someone that's been doing it for a long time, but that's okay. As you do each demo, each presentation, you continue to get better, and eventually you'll start to be able to craft your pitch and word tracks around complaints or objections that people have that continue to come up. So this one is really important to dial in the value proposition, why they need your product, and why you're even talking to them today. So when you're presenting, get to the point very quickly, show them what you have and why they need it, and you will start to see that you'll have more reception, more questions, engaging people's interest much quicker than if you're just dragging it out, trying to talk about you too much, your company, or all of the things that may not be important to the person that you're sitting in front of or talking to on the phone. Number 3, closing or asking for the business. I get really excited to talk about this one because you are that much closer to seeing the fruits of your labor. And there's really one major point I'd like to make for fundamental skill number 3, and that is if you don't ask or lead someone to make a buying decision, you won't make that many sales. And I'll give you a scenario. Let's say, you have your prospect, you went through the presentation, the demo, you built a lot of value, and the other person or the person that may be buying is really excited, and you just kind of say, hey, sounds good, right? Yep, awesome, great. And you leave and you don't ask for the business or don't ask them to move forward. Chances are they're not going to tell you, hey, I'm ready to sign up, or hey, I'm ready to buy your product or service, for a couple of reasons. One, they may not know what the next step is, and 2, which is probably the most important, they don't want to seem dumb or ask the wrong question or feel out of place whenever it's your responsibility and job to lead them to make that buying decision. So whenever you get to this point and you build the value, you've answered the questions, and they seem excited and intrigued how this can impact their life or their business, make sure you get to this step number 3 and ask them, hey, you like what you hear? Would you like to move forward? Would you like to get going today? You're wrapping up that business. Think of it as a funnel at the top with prospecting, presenting, demoing. Now we're getting down to close. And if you make that a habit and a conscious effort to do that, I promise you, you will close more sales. Last but certainly not least, number 4, follow-up. If you've been in sales for any amount of time, you've probably heard this statistic. And it goes like this: 2% of sales are closed on the first touch. 80% of sales are closed after the 5th touch or 5th contact. And about 50% of the time, salespeople never follow up. That is some big statistics and some big ideas to think about there when you're crafting your sales process and how you're going to move forward and give yourself the best chance to succeed. And what I want to focus on for the follow-up for this video is keeping the ball in your court as much as possible. Again, I told you I'm in the restaurant industry. We have a pretty short sales cycle, so let me give you an example. You do a demo, you do a presentation, everything sounds good, but the restaurant says they need to talk to their partner. They can't make a decision until they talk with them and make sure they're good to go. Perfect. Well, you could do a couple things. You could leave that meeting and say, okay, cool, sounds good. Let me know once you talk to them. Bad idea. The chances of you hearing back from them and being proactive and calling you back are slim to none. But the way that you should handle it, or it could keep the ball in your court, is, hey, I need to talk to my partner. And you say, oh, perfect, great. Hey, would 2 days be enough time? Yep, that'd be perfect. Awesome. Well, how about if it's Monday? How about I come swing by Wednesday, 1 o'clock? How does that sound? Perfect. Great. Or if you're doing the phone, same thing applies. But what you're doing there is keeping the ball in your court, and you are locking down the next follow-up at that current meeting, which makes your life easy. You don't have to do guesswork, wonder if you're bothering them, if you're following up too soon, or if it's too much time has gone by, and you will, again, close sales much quicker in the process if you do that. The other piece is some longer-term follow-up stuff. So, if you have a longer sales cycle or a short sales cycle, what is the longer-term follow-up strategy? You're using email sequences, or you're picking up the phone and calling them once a week or every other week. Are you dropping by to shake hands and build those relationships? Whatever it is, there's really no right or wrong answer of what that recipe for success is going to be. The important part is that you have a process in place and you have a way to stay in front of these people. That way they know your face, they know your voice if you're calling over the phone, and they understand what's going on and why they should be in business with you or buy your products and services. The worst thing that can happen is you get to the prospect, you find a qualified buyer, you do your presentation and demonstration, it sounds good, you get to the close, they're interested, but it's just not there just yet. And then you get to number 4 and you don't follow up or make any effort to keep that conversation open, and that thing goes cold and you've just wasted all of this time. So 2 things to remember. 1, the short-term follow-up, keep the ball in your court as much as possible. And 2, make sure you have a longer-term strategy, whatever calls for your product or service, whether you're touching people once or twice a week, every other week, once a month, whatever that is, just make sure you have that in front of you at all times to know where you stand in your pipeline and can know when these sales are likely to close, to make sure you're hitting your numbers and getting where you want to go and reaching your goals and your production expectations. So there you have it, the 4 fundamental sales skills to focus on to help you close more deals and get where you want to go. We have prospecting, we have presenting, we have closing, and we have follow-up. If you're lacking in the sales that you want to make or not where you want to be, you can keep it very simple and look at these 4 buckets and identify one or a couple of them that you're not hitting on and get laser focused on correcting that part in your process and work to get your sales where they need to be. We don't have to make these things complicated. Like I said at the beginning of this video, each one of these skills we can spend a whole video series on and getting a lot more granular and how to do things in different approaches, but this will get you started, or keep that to the front of your mind, the simplicity, and to focus on the things that actually matter and will help you make the sales and the money that you want to make. I also said at the top of this video, if you're new to sales, to stick around to the end, and I would give you an example to get you motivated or excited to think differently and not be so intimidated about being brand new, especially if you're going up against folks in your company that are veterans or been doing it for a while and having a lot of success. So let me start with this piece. You can make up in numbers what you lack in skill, right? You may want to jot that down. You can make up in numbers what you lack in skill. So here's what I mean by that. Let's say your closing ratio is 1 out of 10. You talk to 10, you get 1. You talk to 10, you get another 1. And you have somebody in your company that can talk to 10 and get 9. Talk to 10 and get 9. Well, let's say you wanted to have a 30-day competition for a month where you're brand new or newer and your average is not where you want it to be and it's improving, and you challenge someone that might be a master salesperson in your company. So your ratio, talk to 10, get 1. Their ratio, talk to 10, get 9. Now, here's what I mean by making up in numbers what you lack in skill. Let's say for that 30 days, this person talks to 10 and gets 9 because they're so confident that all they need to do is talk to 10. However, you can put in a tremendous amount of work and talk to 100 people and get 10, right? And then you just won this competition. Now, it is a tremendous amount of work, but you can go out and focus on that hard work and get the skills and develop, and along the way, you're gonna get a lot better at prospecting, presenting, and closing, and then your average is gonna continue to go up. So at the end of this 30 days, maybe you talk to 10 and get 2. Then eventually maybe you talk to 10 and get 3. That's how you improve consistency. You just continue to do those things and perfect and get better each and every day. And I will say this as we wrap up this video. Sales is not easy. That's why there's a whole lot of people that can't do it, can't face rejection, and do the things that we do on a daily basis. However, it is simple, and if we continue to keep it simple, we will have the success, have the fun, make the income that we want. So I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you found value in this video. I know it was a little bit longer than usual, but I feel that is very helpful, especially for everyone in the sales world, to understand these fundamentals and to keep it simple. So thank you for watching. Share it with someone that may benefit from this information in the sales world, and I'll catch you on the next one.